It is a good buddy, Jason. He's off screen. Unfortunately, we're talking about the Cardinals. The Cardinals had a rough night tonight, but you know what? They're built to come back. I'm not fucking worried about this shit. Man, they win 2 games. We knew they were going to win 2 games out of the series. Hey, going to happen. So, Jason, I'm going to bring you in because I know you've been freaking chomping at the bit about the old Cardinals. What's going on, dude?
Oh, bro, I don't know. That
Friday, dude. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. That scared me today. I was like,
give you a beer.
Oh, nice.
Got my Cardinals, yeah.
It looks a little maroon.
I'm still outside today, man.
Oh, anyway, no, I was saying the color of the beer. But anyway, yeah, the Cardinals, they had it. I mean, it was 2-0. A lucky pinch hit home run by lucky pinch hit home run, and they had it. And then Helsley, I don't know why he was in. Apparently he had a jammed finger. So,
well, you know what? You always find out after the fact. You know, you never find out like before the fact. So,
oh no, we knew something was wrong with his finger a game ago. So I don't know why he was even in there in that situation, and who knows. But anyway, you're right. The Cardinals.
He probably said he could, you know, he probably said he could make through. He could get through it. You know.
TJ, is there an echo?
I think there was.
He's looking for the string.
Okay, there we go. Well, got a lot to talk about tonight. I think my friend Kris is coming. We think we promoted it.
Yeah.
Last week we had a bit of a well, Jason, what happened? And I know Kris doesn't like us to talk about it, but you know, this is just us talking right now. He got abducted by aliens, dude. Fucking show, dude. Like it was like all of a sudden he was there, and all of a sudden this is like, you know, the static appeared on the screen, like all of a sudden, poof, he fucking was gone, dude. I was like, what the hell? And so like I'm like freaking out, dude. I'm like, you know, what is going on? By the way, TJ's not with us tonight. I know I just put up the little flag. TJ's not with us. He's off screen, but I want to say hi to TJ. He's part of our show too, man.
Say hi. He said thank you.
Yeah, we got pictures of him sleeping from last night, so we're fine. We'll put that up later. Yeah. But it's always kind of a bummer after Cardinals lose. Everybody's kind of in a bad mood, you know, people in that area. You know, so I get it. I get it, dude.
They're built to do this. They pride themselves. The reason the Cardinals win every year is because of the fans and because they have a motto: win every series.
Yep.
So 2 games in a row is nothing for this team.
Again, let's remind people they have, you know, Nolan Arenado, you know, they got Paul Goldschmidt, Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, you know, Dylan Carlson, it just goes on and on. I mean, you know, they've got some big this Newt Bars guy. I don't really know much about him, but he's been coming on too. So again, you're my hometown correspondent talking about our Cardinals. I just hate when they lose. Just kind of puts a little sour taste.
It was a sad loss too. It was 2-0 going into the ninth. It broke 50,000 fans there probably.
At home, it was at home, right? Is that St. Louis, right?
Yeah, it's the wild card thing, so we get all 3 of them at home.
Wow,
so,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That scares me. It's like a dagger. Like, wait, what? We get all 3 games here?
Well, like you said, man, all you have to win is win those 2. So, but dude, I gotta tell you, man, you ever do something and you're like immediately like, I shouldn't have done that. I know you never do, but me. So there's this guy. He's a stand-up comedian, and I really love him. I think he's fucking awesome. He's like hilarious. His name is, I'm gonna say his name on him because I don't mind promoting this. I think he's a good dude. His name is Steve Hofstetter. Okay, and he just does a lot of videos where he just like burns hecklers and stuff like that. He's just great to watch. So he put on, I follow him. He put on his Facebook. Him and his like wife or girlfriend, they were wearing. I think they're in Europe or something. And they were wearing New York Mets matching jackets, And I just put on there, the Mets are pond scum, and are they still paying for Barry or Bobby Bonilla's? Or does Bobby Bonilla own the team yet? Well, of course, you don't do that to a stand-up comedian.
No.
You lit up. So he was actually great in his response, and his response was like, hey, know the facts. Bobby Bonilla hasn't played for team, whatever. And I was like, dude, like. And he's like, well, you don't even really know what you're talking about. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm talking about at all. But I got to read you what I post, because you know me, man. I go on these fucking rants, and like I just can't help myself sometimes, and like I need to do better with it. But dude, I was like really kind of annoyed about the whole thing. So he said, Vanilla's contract got them Mike Hampton and David Wright, which both led them to World Series appearances. Okay, fine. He said, if you still want to talk shit, make sure you know what you're talking about. That's the killer. That's the dagger. That's the come on, fight me, motherfucker. That's what they do in social media. Fight me, motherfucker. So, of course, I can't leave the shit alone, Jason. I can't. So, of course, this is under my name, Steve Hostetter. Oh, my God. I, of course, have no fucking idea except the 9 titles and shit the fucking Mets have been loaded. Steve, they've been loaded for years and fallen short. Yep, that's true. I know the Big Apple is taking a big, deep breath tonight because they're the preseason favorites. And now it's time to put up and shut up. Put up or shut up, right? But mostly they've been shut up recently. In recent years, they haven't won anything, okay? So then I said, this is what's going to get me in trouble. I go, I know I'm just a cow fuck from Missouri, relocated, but don't drop shop the pro Mets here until you got some of that bling, B-L-I-N-G, some of that bling to sing about, bro. Good luck, though. David Wright was, 15 years ago? Take your Greg Jeffries practice jersey and face facts. The Mets are possibly the biggest underachieving franchise in all of baseball. Fun talk. I do report myself to be a real prick, but I love sports. Jason, that's true. That's me through and through. So I'm gonna get eviscerated. I might actually get kicked off of Twitter or something. I don't fucking know. But I'm not gonna let this guy shop the Mets. The Mets, come on, fuck, man.
No, you're right. The last thing I remember about the Mets is Chavez robbing us of a home run, and then Wainwright striking out.
No, Yadi Molina hit the dinker over the wall, and then Wainwright come down.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Chavez earlier in that series robbed us.
Oh, he was Andy Chavez, he's having a great series over the wall, man.
And that's all I remember about the Mets. That was their last bedazzle. That was it.
Yeah, I know. It's like every year you hear about the fucking Mets. Oh, they're so good. They're going to be great. Oh, they're going to be sorry, dude. And I have a friend out here named Chung. And Alex, a great dude. He lives out here in Oregon, and he's all about the Mets. And that's all I've been hearing about all season. So I've been like, me, I get built up, sort of pent up anger. I have to let it loose. Last night was on rock and roll. This night's on the Mets. Like, the Mets. Who cares about those pieces of shit, man? They got to prove it. They got to prove it. It's not just me being a dick. It's like they got to prove it. When they prove it, I'll be like, okay, yeah. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, I fucking hate them. But they proved it, right?
I guess.
They've proved it 9 times, right? 9 championships, right?
Oh, yeah. They've won a lot.
So anyway, I'm gonna get eviscerated, and this is gonna be by a national comedian who's gonna fucking light me up on Facebook tomorrow. I'm actually gonna look forward to it. I think it'll be something that I don't know. I think it'd just be a new adventure. But Jason, you know me, I like weird stuff, dude. I do.
Yeah, you're kind of weird.
Dude, I'll fight you right now, bitch. Listen, no, we don't fight. Dude, we're bros, man. We are bros. So bros. Like we think on this. It's crazy.
You seen the movie Step Brothers? That's what it would probably be like after
Jason. Here's the deal, dude. You know the deal. We got business to take care of, bro.
I hear you.
Welcome to the Two Bros Show. Here's your host, Rob Staggenborg, with co-host Jason Nichols. Let's go to the studio. Jason, what's up, bro?
Yeah. What's up?
What's going on?
Not much.
Nothing. Okay. Well, I was going to try to go through our headlines here today, but because I've had some things switching around on me, like all my graphics are shot to shit, dude. And I'm really, I'm bummed out about that because I love the fucking do the graphics, dude. It's what I love to do. It's my thing. So just there's graphics, but I found a story today. It was really interesting to me, at least. Again, I'm a Clavin of internet shit. The term Bluetooth, everybody knows fucking Bluetooth, right? Bluetooth, you got Bluetooth on your phone, like Bluetooth's fucking us up on our internet all the time. Well, you know where the term Bluetooth actually came from?
No.
It was actually the name of a Viking king in like the 600 or so. And he was actually credited with uniting like Scandinavia and Norway and stuff. So it was King Charles, blah, 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 the Bluetooth. And they called him Bluetooth because he had a dead tooth that was gray or blue. Gray.
That's where you said.
Dude, I'm serious. I'm going to put this in the link so people can read it and know that I'm not full of shit this time. But anyway, I'm just telling you, it is so true. He had a Bluetooth. So that's what. So when they were thinking of the name to call it, what they're going to call it, this guy actually had been reading about that particular thing at the time and said they're going to name it Bluetooth. It's supposed to be just like a temporary thing. They're going to like rename it as, I think they like RAN was one thing. They had like 3 different things they're going to rename it all, which were ridiculous, but they could never like get it going. And eventually the name Bluetooth just stuck, just stuck, excuse me. Where the name Bluetooth comes from, dude?
Bluetooth.
Who knew? Like even we're like, this will never, this will be this temporary, whatever, but crazy, dude. Crazy.
Yeah, I like it.
Crazy. Well, anyway, the other thing that I was going to tell you about is, man, there's been just a lot of craziness, and we've been talking about that chess championship, and I hate to bring it up because I really thought that we got to the bottom of it. Like we really got to the depths, the anus of the whole situation. But dude, it heats back up. These 2 fucking chess guys are going at it, Jason. They're like pissed. One's accusing the one of cheating. The other one's accusing the one of getting anal beads, man. And I thought, like, when I first saw the story, I was like, okay, haha. But dude, it was on CNN. Like CNN is reporting on this stuff. And the thing is, we had that shit first, dude. We did.
That's crazy. Yes.
I'll never get credit for that.
We reported the freaking Zapper anal bead chess master.
We were on top of it or on bottom of it. I mean, we were underneath it or whatever you want to say. But anyway, that's ridiculous. Again, I don't want to like spend all our time talking about ridiculous stuff. The other thing, I just want to make sure I definitely give a shout out to my main man, Nichols. Little boy, Nichols, is turning 7 years old. So I'm excited about him. He's an awesome kid. He is someone I'm very proud of. Obviously, he is maybe a little bit too young for the show, but he definitely knows about YouTube. And that's what the age is. These kids definitely know about YouTube and stuff. So happy birthday, Nicholas. Jason and I are going to sing the birthday song to you, and that is happy from all of us to you. Happy birthday from all of us. Oh, hey.
Happy birthday, Nicholas.
Noise. Well, listen, the thing is, we're getting ready to do some Halloween here, buddy. And we have a guest coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this open, and hopefully our guest will join us. Kris Reddick has returned from outer space, and he is actually in the blue room right here. I'm concerned that he may have been followed. So if weird stuff happens to you, Jason, it's Chris's fault. So just hang loose, blood. Wow. Dude, that just freaks me out. Every time I hear him, I get like nervous and stuff. Like, Jason, like, are you okay, dude? Like, don't you send help? Hey, Kris, we're back,
Hello.
man. So, just want to let everybody know. Last week we had some connection problems with our man Kris, and we were like started to do the interview, and all of a sudden things started went haywire. And then what I found out from my sources, dude, you fucking got abducted by the aliens right there on the show, and that you came back just tonight. I thought that was awesome that you came back for us.
Yeah, whether it be alien, the better half by Rob, Ronnie Dangerfield is like, hey, take my wife,
Nice. Well, look, man, we had a great time with it. It was a lot of fun with it, Kris. And like I said, I've known Kris for a long time. Jason, I'm going to pop you out while you figure that out, okay? Jason gets something figured out. So, again, this is me. We've known each other for many, many years. But one thing that I just had a different position. You were in school. I didn't really know having dealings with you. But as we found out that you and I had a really common interest in old movies and old movie stars and things like that. So as we've kind of gotten involved with the social media, we've just kind of connected over the years and been posting things. I've been finding a lot of stuff about the Three Stooges. So I was raised on Three Stooges, Jason, I'm going to bring you back here. Hopefully he is back done with us. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Jason, I was just telling you, Kris has a big interest in movies, and we've known each other for a long time. So I want him to come on the show and talk about some of like the famous Hollywood movie monsters and stuff. So Jason, I'll let you jump in and introduce yourself and tell them hi and all that crap you want to do.
Hi, I'm Jason. We didn't get to talk last time.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I understand. Estrogen is a real thing. But anyway.
Well, yes. We don't know what happened. This is why the whole thing.
Anyway, no, bro. I have 3 daughters. I know. But anyway.
I know. Well, Jason, what's your favorite movie monster, first of all? We were talking about this up there. So, like, who's the one that you, like, get freaked out, that you love, like, just get you kind of going?
Well, like, what do you consider a monster? First of all,
Jason, it's just a question, man. Come up with something, dude.
No, I have to know. Because there's things that scare me and things that don't. Like, aliens scare me.
Okay, all right. Predator, which is the newer.
Okay. Predator doesn't really scare me so much. But yeah, now that you say it, it does.
Absolutely.
I think the most scary movie I've ever seen that scarred me for life was that little indigenous man in Trilogy of Terror on VHS.
Crypt Keeper?
No, it wasn't Crypt Keeper. No, it was before that.
You guys are on the geek level. I'm not to that
70s.
level.
That's the 70s, right?
Yeah, there was 3 little short films in
Black or Karen Black.
Yeah, that little Indian scared the shit out of me. At the same time, that necklace came off. That little dude went nuts. Remember that? She couldn't.
That was a VHS movie or something.
That's right when like microwaves must have been out. Because isn't that how she killed him?
Yeah. I think so. It's literally the late 70s.
Yeah.
Had to have been.
I was, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things here in a few minutes, but like I was always freaked out by the Blob. Because like, where do you go? I mean, you're like F-U-C-K, you're done. You can't escape the Blob.
One, the 80s one. There's 2 of them.
Yeah, which one? Yeah, I mean, I just saw one. That's all I needed to see.
The Blob will come. The Blob will come right through your door through the keyhole after you go in.
Well, so Kris, we started talking last time. So was it your grandfather owned a Blockbuster, or your father owned a Blockbuster? And that's where things got kind of crazy.
I wasn't too clear then. My grandfather our weekly routine blockbuster. You know, when that was still, and back then it was. I mean, I was born in 19. So I'm a youngin. So I want to say this is around 2005. You know, blockbusters. So as far as I was concerned, it was, you wanted to watch a movie, you wanted to, you know, there was no streaming. Could you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're kind of like breaking up a little bit. Do you have are you watching this? Do you have something? Is your phone on or something?
I have my headphones on here.
Okay, I think you're okay.
Closer.
Yeah, I think we're okay. We're fine.
Okay.
We'll get through it.
Jason,
Jason,
a little slower.
We'll bring you back in, man. Jason's got a few things he's dealing with off screen, so that's why I'm kind of giving him some breaks. So you're telling us about Blockbuster and what was the connection there?
90s, all of these movies, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, the Invisible Universal horror classic, the Abbott and Costello movies started crossing over with them. You know, at Blockbuster shelves, those are cute art to them. You know, sitting there, monster behind them, man behind them, or the, you know, where do I choose? When you had just Frankenstein, you had Frankenstein meat store, House of Frankenstein were in it, you know,
sure,
including Godzilla, all the different Godzilla monsters, Gigan, and it's just, it was.
I was gonna get into Godzilla, but one thing I was gonna ask you, Kris, would you mind like jumping off and jumping back in? I think maybe if you reestablish the connection, that might work out. Because I definitely want to hear the story. I don't want to keep like missing it. I want to hear the story for sure, man.
Absolutely. Let me take the headphones off. Maybe that. Here.
I know sometimes, like with all the Zoom and stuff and sound settings, it just like it throws your computer off, man. It does for sure.
Oh, I think the headphones and the radio was on.
Yeah, I think that would probably because I think it was your microphone was catching feedback and it was like interrupting you. So
radio. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
All right. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Jason, are you okay where you're at? And again, we're sorry about these technical problems.
Yeah, dude, I'm just having some little family issues here.
Okay. Well, can you hear him okay, or
can you hear me back with the radio?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
All right, cool.
Anyways, where I picked off back in the day in Blockbuster, half of the appeal was the art. You know, and the further back you go back 40s and 30s movie. I mean, these art. I mean, the poster nuts, and half the appeal to me, it just drew me in at a young age. Some kids days with them being so big now.
I'm still with you. Sometimes I'll disappear to give you full screen. Sorry, I should have.
Oh, you're
so.
So big now. I was a kid. I was a monster kid. You know, I grew up on all the monsters that just it's they're alive nowadays, but there's something about what I'll consider the 1920s, 60s, and even that goes into the 80s boom and all that afterwards in the 60s. Mm-hmm. There's just something about that were few, whether it was the pulp, just it wasn't everything. So you had to go to these magazines, you know, weird tales, and you had to correct stories, and it was something that viewers do and be terrified by, but be time, and it just something about that. Even today, I've told you before, Rob, maybe Plan 9 from outer space.
That's great. Well, you know, the thing is like I never would have watched Plan 9. Like I'm not into that kind of movies, but I was a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
So I really gained an appreciation for like a lot of these really wacky films, and some of them are just like really crazy. The costumes are outrageous and stuff. But the fact is that someone took time to make these films. I mean, they put effort into them. It's not like they just, hodgepodge a bunch of stuff together. It took, costume, makeup, creativity and stuff. So yeah, some of the storylines are hokey or whatever, but it was interesting. So for me, I've always had an interest, but I just not really into the genre as well. But I do think the old ones are just really they can kind of scare you without like the lighting and the it's just. Go ahead. I'm talking to you.
Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, and my nephew, he's in second these. Mm-hmm. I showed him Abbott Wittgenstein the other night, man. Okay. Got me. That was the first one that got me. Bela Lugosi are both Glenn Strange, who Wittgenstein monster just as many as Boris Karloff had. These were my initial bringing me into the world of it wasn't even and I was scared of them. No, I don't know if you've seen the movie Einstein, but the first few minutes, then the monsters they were played straight, but then at the end, okay, what can we do? By then they had all these, like how the Marvel movies are doing nowadays. Yeah. Over two movies, but in 1948 they were like, do now that's just different. Poor two people didn't. The was cut in half. The horror movie industry was not the World War II because people didn't want to go to the movie. They had seen real horror, and they had bombs and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I want to do it at the end. They would combine with Abbott and Costello, the highest world between 1941 and with the Universal monsters on the Wolfman. Mm-hmm. And they would create one of Abbott and Costello's, and so one of the most famous movies. And the monsters are played straight. They're not at the butt of the jokes. Luke Costello thought at first. What is this? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Lon Chaney, who played the Wolfman by this point.
Yeah.
Goes, what's going on? We're going to be laughed at. What's going on? And Charles Barton was like, trust me. And the monsters are played straight at the end. And there's a scene where I'm getting at is the beginning of the movie. It starts off with this character who we've seen at this point tracking Dracula through Europe, and the Wolfman within the first 5 seconds on the phone with Luke Costello. Costello thinks he's talking to a dog. Where
That's funny.
The couch, the growling, and he's just changed to mess with me so much. When there was like, oh no, what I'm getting at is it wasn't first as a kid, but now on to these movies is I'm not even scared anymore, man. I watch these monsters. They're just cool. It's a lost art of face up like that, or wearing. You go to the 80s with even the Friday the 13th. There's an art to make that, and it when it came out, but now necessarily aren't scared by that stuff. It's captivated by it. I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you. I mean, it's just like it's so changed. You're right, because in the old days they had you're right. All the monsters they played straight people. They weren't in comic sort of situations. Where now it's all the monsters have a comic sort of bent to them, and it's just a whole different here. So Jason, what we're talking about, I'm not sure if you're available or not. Real quick, how scary movies have changed over the years. Like in the 40s and 50s, it was all about the monsters. But the monsters, Kris was saying they were played like they played straight. You know what I mean? They didn't like play comic. And monsters are very comical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is a big difference in monsters. Yeah.
Ghostbusters was, an animated thing that wasn't even a real person or anything. And, the Stay Puft Marshmallow, it was like outrageous. It wasn't like you would never expect that to happen. But in these old movies, you could expect Dracula to like walk in your door or something because the way they told the stories were very well crafted. So,
I've seen some scary, like vampire movies. There's a couple of them that stand out to me.
The one Kris said he likes is the Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein or Meet the Wolfman.
It's Meet Frankenstein, but the Wolfman in that is the third movie in where the Frankenstein monster man it all crossed over with each other. But that was one consecutive, and they did what Marvel is doing over 75, 80 years. People don't realize that's been even Godzilla did it in the 60s. People don't realize it. Everyone attributes evil to that, but it's been happening for a.
Well, I'll tell you the one that I know you like to talk about was, oh no, there goes Tokyo, got Godzilla. So what was it about Godzilla? He's your man, dude. You jam on Godzilla, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Again, what I was talking about Block, a whole just fiction, and seeing all of the posters and just like you watch the movie. And I will admit sometimes, and you get into these lower budget times, the movies don't live up to but it's just when you're able to put your as a kid. I belong to some of these Facebook groups, and somebody or a set photo from like 1968. Those monsters, all of Godzilla, and they're all faced. King Ghidorah. Background is it's a blue sky with clouds, superbly painted. It's a matte painting. Use the matte paintings. All those blockbusters use the matte painting. Studio Toho used them, and saying that the backdrop, and you saw the top of it. You don't see that in the movie set photos. And someone, as obvious as it is, it never. These were fake backgrounds. Especially the Japanese, almost like there's a giant monster school. We got a giant monster on Japanese television. There's an art style. It's so intricate, so to where as a kid, it occurred to me that these were movies, or these were, it's just the way they made the suits, firing bottle rockets at these guys. These are latex suits where they're inside, and I'm learning about how they're passing during the shooting of these movies. Oh my God, man! Sure. And these guys were craft, and it just what I'm getting occurred to me that these were, they're just so well made. It's you watch it, but like what you might remember Tim Vianney. I took class, and he talked about the suspension of your belief, and they called Boris Karloff. It really is all of belief. If you're willing to get it and just completely bond, it's the best. And tenfold that with the amount of movies,
Hey, Kris, we're going to take a real quick break. It's going to be a couple minutes, about 3 or 4 minutes or so. We're still here. I'm getting some feedback from people that were kind of you're stuttering and stopping. You want to call back in, or you want to just pick up another time? It's up to you. I got most of it. I could follow you along, with people outside are saying that you're stuttering and stopping a little bit. So I just want to acknowledge that and make sure, because we've spent a lot of time getting you on the show. That's good.
No, you can hear me. I get going, and it's so passionate about it,
Hey, I love it. That's what we love. We love that, and I want to make sure we hear you. So we're going to switch to a break. If you want to jump off, then jump back in, and we'll be about 2 minutes, and then we'll jump back in and finish up. Okay?
Sounds good, Rob.
Thanks. All right, man. We're going to roll to our break, which is here. And we're back. Hopefully, Kris, we can hear you.
Can you hear me a little bit better now?
A little bit better, man. A little bit better. I appreciate that. I'm sorry to keep going back and forth with you on that.
No, it's absolutely fine. I want to make sure you can hear me here. I get going. I just stop. I don't stop.
It's great. But you definitely have a passion for these old movies, and we were talking about the old time films. So I know we talked about Godzilla and some of the kind of really first time those kind of special effects were kind of used. It really gained a lot of popularity. But the one that I used to love myself was the Ultraman. I was Ultraman all the way, dude.
Yes.
And but that was that same sort of time period, like right after Godzilla, Ultraman became, and Johnny Sacco, the giant robot.
Well, so Ultraman the original Godzilla movie, E.G. Tsuburaya, and Tsuburaya went on to form his own company and made Ultra 66. And
okay.
Ultraman still goes today. I want a woman down and I'll make her watch Ultraman sometimes, man. And what you don't realize is too, or maybe, I don't know, you might realize it, but Ultraman is, like I said, it's still a TV show today. Several Ultramen. They're called the Ultra Brothers. And the original Ultraman, it always TV show. And my mom, she's a Gen Xer as well. I'm assuming you grew up with Johnny Sacco and Speed Racer and Ultra, all them. And
Speed Racer, buddy, it's my jam.
Yeah, there you go. And it's just nowadays all those things, all those TV shows and movies, they have all these Blu-ray releases on them. I'm a collector, so I'll collect them and I'll watch them and just, like I said before, spend your belief and you watch these things. These things are so cool, man. It's I'll watch 15 episodes of Ultraman before I'll watch a new one of those things.
That's great. But the thing I liked about it was so campy, just was like so ignorantly stupid and stuff like that. I think they look like, don't they look like freaking Iron Man or all like buff Ultraman? Like it to me, I like that he was in the suit. It was a dude. It was like so campy and hokey that now it's almost too realistic. Like the monsters are too realistic now. Now it's like just put a dude in a stupid gorilla outfit, like.
So they're making a I don't know if you're familiar with the Godzilla movie to come out of Japan was called Shin Godzilla in 2016. And the creators are making Shin Ultraman. It is released in Japan over the summer, and they just recently secured American rights to release it. I saw Shin Godzilla 3 times in theaters. I cannot wait to see Shin Ultraman on YouTube. And the best part about Shin Ultraman is all the original sound effects from the original Godzilla movies. So this Shin Ultraman, he looks like it uses all the original sound effects. He goes,
cool.
That stuff.
Spam, smack. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm glad, and I love seeing your passion for it because you know what, it's just people that your age, they don't get into old movies. They don't know anything about old stuff, and it's just it's something I'm dealing with. And on a different project I'm working with, I'm dealing with old news footage, and I'm trying to talk to people about major world events, and they're like, what did that like things that happened in the 80s are like, what's that? Like, it's crazy. It's like, man,
you tell these people about the 80s, and they're like, I don't even know. I love the old world, and what I mean by the old world is to about the 1980s, and after 9/11, things got complicated, but I will even say leading up to 9/11, past the 80s, I'll even use Friday the 13th or Halloween example. In any of the Halloween movies or the Friday the 13th movies past the 1980s, they just don't have atmosphere. It's all about atmosphere. It really is. But I do know what changed, but there's a lot of different things. But things really changed. Like for someone who didn't experience any of that, Rob. Sure. I wasn't alive during.
Yeah.
Go back to Abbott and Costello Monsters. I watched these guys, these men in these suits with a hat and a trench coat, saving the day, and
the old school,
and the courtship, and it's just it was a different. I grew up, and I will say a little bit of a personal note here. Bitter that I was robbed of some of that. It's just a different.
Kris, I'm going to burst your bubble. The 80s kind of sucked, man. They weren't everybody says they were great. Not really. I mean, people weren't making money. There's a lot of things going on. So, hey, balls out. I grew up in the 80s. I love it, whatever. But you know what? I wouldn't trade the modern conveniences that you guys have for the way we grew up. Like, literally, we had to walk across the living room. On top of TV, we had to freaking switch. It had A and B. And like MTV was the only thing on the B side. So you always and MTV back then only played like 4 videos. They played they played Culture Club, and they played like George. It was just crazy. So you didn't really miss out on too much. I want you to make sure you understand that.
Do you understand? My mom was even saying nowadays, and I understand. I mean, she knows I understand this. 1940s a lot. If you didn't see the movie, you missed it. No home video.
Yeah.
She knows I understood that. Yep. But she goes, you talk a lot as this time period so much, but you wouldn't be able to watch these movies over and over and over again. And that it's just like I don't know. It's just a culture thing. It's a
that's a really good point, because when you talked about like Abbott and Costello, that's when like the movie, all the people went to the movies on Saturday. It's like the one thing they did all week, and that was the thing, you know. And we moved away from it. Now it's like you can do movies. You can watch a movie at 3 a.m, whenever you want, you know. And it's almost like much. But the fact that you didn't have access to it made it like, oh, cool. The movie's Frankenstein versus whoever Dracula is coming. You got to see that, you know. And now it's just like, yeah, it's crazy how it's all changed. So I'm gonna bring Jason back here. Jason, you good?
Yeah, it's cold.
Cold?
Mm-hmm.
It's always sunny in St. Louis, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Not right now.
Hey, we're just Kris and I having a great talk. I want you to I know you and I were talking about like, what are some movies, Kris, that you would recommend, kind of like hidden gems for people to watch this Halloween season? A lot of people, they've seen Halloween, they've seen all the other, but what are movies that you're like, man, you got to see this movie? Give us 3 or 4 of them if you can think of them.
Okay, so I watched this one recently with the Hays Code. The Hays Code was enacted in 1934. Basically, if you watch movies before 1934, they were racy. They showed nudity. The bad guy got away with things again. Yeah. You know, after 34, that didn't happen implemented. But I watched this movie that was, I think it was 1932 with Bela in the Rue Morgue. Man, and this movie is demented, and it is from the 30s. And it's an Edgar Allan Poe story, obviously, but it caught my girlfriend. Holy shit! Like this is brutal, and it's pretty great. You got to say.
Just a reminder, Kris, I'm gonna have you give me the names of these movies. I'll put the links in the text in the comments after the show so people can follow up.
To you.
Yeah,
I'll text them.
So a couple more.
Shout out with one quick note with this movie. I'll move on. Charles Grimora, guerrilla actor in Hollywood. He if you watch a lot of these old movies, the guy, usually Charles Grimora, this guy studied the movements of gorillas and chimpanzees, and in some of these shots, you can't even tell it's a guy in a gorilla suit. He looks like it's uncanny as all hell, man. And he's Bela Lugosi's little, he's a gorilla man. He has this whole fixation on combining human DNA, and this ape gets fixated on this woman, and then he's fixated on women and combining their blood. And when they don't survive, he gets all pissed off and he throws them in the sewer. It's crazy. It's Murders in the Rue Morgue. That's the first. It
sounds like Jason's first marriage.
That sounds like friggin' a Human Centipede. That's not nothing I want to watch.
Oh, you're gonna watch it. All right, what else you got? You got a couple more?
I do. It's Murders in the Rue Morgue. I'm trying to steer away from the Universal horror movies. Every Halloween, I have over 40 of these movies, man. They were all made by Universal Studios. I recommend any of them, but some of them from that catalog, I guess. I'm a little impartial to that. So Murders, I would say Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. That is the second entry in the Wolfman, 5th in the Frankenstein saga.
Cool.
It is just unreal. And you got you can't get any more classic than Lon Chaney as the Wolfman, Boris, and Dracula, Bela Lugosi as Dracula, man.
Yeah. And Boris Karloff is
as Frankenstein monster. Absolutely. Yeah. And so in Frankenstein meets the Wolf, worth mentioning that Bela Lugosi dons the Frankenstein makeup in that one.
I gotta say, that's the scariest Frankenstein I've ever seen.
Oh, Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff is the original.
See, that's what Kris was saying. Back then, they all played like straight characters. They weren't comical. Now it's like they always want to have Hulk do something comical, or have Black Panther do something comical. You know what I mean? It's not like these movies. The monsters never did anything comical.
Yeah, well, except for stuff like Godzilla, where it was comical when they were first learning how to do it, and it looked like they were big.
Well, that's how they made it, but not the storyline.
Well, so by
I
then,
know. But I'm saying, some of these things look scarier earlier than now.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, what you'd be thinking of Godzilla is by the 6 children, and Godzilla became less of a horror, and that's why he would defend Earth from all the different aliens and children and that kind of stuff. So that almost encompasses of outlook when at least the West, how the West views him. When they saw all those movies, 70s and 80s, you saw those cheesy children ones. Everyone forgets the original terrifying movies of all time if you keep in consideration the atomic bomb and how that was only in the Japanese public, which is crazy.
Yeah. I got you. I love that aspect of the movie. I was just talking about like how they accidentally added comedy when they started adding rubber parts to things, and when it wasn't just makeup, it just became comedy because they were so new to it that it just didn't look normal. It was, how when kids put those dinosaur costumes on and everybody runs down the street, it just looks goofy as shit. Their heads are bobbling all over the place. But yeah, back then. But now there's some scary stuff now. Now Godzilla doesn't really have anything comedy about him. He more or less has I'm gonna kick your ass or I'm gonna be nice to you side.
Yes.
But it's never comedy.
No. We'll say also those 70s and 60s Godzilla movies, they're so cheesy, but character. If you really watch them, he is a character. He is like his eyes and his facial expressions, it's a suit. But it's almost like they just to where he has his facial expressions are so just in your face. That's as a kid, at least, I'm impartial to it. I was always like, man, he's awesome. Thing after he kicks a monster, and he's like, there's one movie where he does a dance after drop. This is awesome. I was saying earlier is I suspend my belief. I do, but going back to the recommendations. So we're at Murder. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
I'm gonna watch that.
I would probably add from. You gotta watch the original, The Invisible Man. He with Claude Rains, the same director, James Whale, The Invisible Man. And that movie is a pre-code movie, and it is very terrifying still at the same time.
I know. I think I may have seen that. But this is the Two Bros Show, so I have to implement something real quick. Anytime in the original Invisible Man movie, is there a woman that looks like this?
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's so wrong.
The Invisible Man strikes again.
And then you know what? Did they get the same actor play the Invisible Man every time?
Or a guy, ladies, that looks like this.
Yeah. Stop it. You're going to hell, dude. Kris is a Catholic boy. You stop it, man.
I know, but I had to put it in there, bro.
Look at Jesus in the background too, you son of a bitch.
Hey, it's a Two Bros Show. I love you, man. No, it's from a meme that was shared on the site.
I've seen
and it just went with it. Okay. All right.
Mentions the Invisible Man, and I got a kick out of it, man. I got it.
All right.
But back to your question. So Claude Rains played Claude Rains in Casablanca. He plays the military gets to be real friends with at the end. He goes, I feel like this is the start of whatever his name is at the end, and they walk away. Claude Rains plays the original Invisible Man, but Rice plays him. And after that, it went in. They made after that, and then they made the Invisible Agent, where the actor John Hall, Invisible Man serum. It's all connected through the whole serum that they use to make themselves invisible. He gets a hold of it and uses it on their agents in Nazi Germany. Invisible, because it's not a horror movie, nonetheless, but it's almost like a sci-fi in the sense that they're over there. It's called Invisible Agent, but after Invisible Agent, they brought it back. By the way, all the 40s after the original one. Invisible Man's Revenge. It's the same guy from Invisible Agent, and then after Invisible Man's Revenge, Invisible Man. So it wasn't the same character, but the original one, Price comes close to matching the original one's mania. The original one, it just plays it. His mania is just insane. He goes insane. He has this rant about invisible. He can terrify the world with a touch of his finger because he's invisible. These go small scale from what we think about nowadays, but they had in the sense that he's invisible. He can do anything he wants. This unbelievable. Even though nowadays we look at it and we're like, oh, the Frankenstein. My girlfriend in Bride of Frankenstein. Everybody's terrified by just how Boris Karloff looks in the movie. My girlfriend's like, oh, come on, he's not that bad. He doesn't look that scary, but everyone's terrified of him. How he runs. But it's again.
So I'm gonna watch Frankenstein meets Wolfman, and then I'm gonna watch every Invisible Man episode ever since day one, and then I have one question.
Yes.
How do we ever really know who played the Invisible Man?
So at the end of the movies, he always. So in the 1930s, the 33 original, it's a pre-code movie. He still dies. Invisible Man dies. Yeah, visibility is returned to the Invisible Man.
You know who's playing? Who plays it now? Elvis.
Could be anybody. We can't see his ass.
Elvis is an actor. He knows how to act. He's doing Invisible Man all over the world, man.
It could be a woman. We don't know who it is.
Nice. Well, hey, Kris, we're going to have to kind of wrap it up because we've been talking for an hour. We try to keep the show right at an hour. And Jason and I have a couple things that we want to kind of follow on. Hey, would you want to come back sometime? Can we put out an invite? We love talking movies with you, dude.
Please, dude. I would love to talk anytime. This has been awesome. I'm so glad it worked out. First time in. I'm so glad it worked out.
It's okay. Like I said, we're just starting a podcast, so we're trying to build it. Like I said, we do it twice a week. We have a website and stuff, so it's kind of not high level, I guess, but it's something that we enjoy doing. And one thing we're going to talk about as we kind of say goodbye to you is kind of why we do the show. So, Kris, thanks for joining us. That's Kris Reddick. I'm going to go ahead and sign him out, and then Jason and I are going to go into our thing. See you, dude.
Later, Gator.
I like Kris. As soon as we got the audio worked out, it was great. The audio was just kind of choppy and stuff. I don't really understand that, but
I think it's got something to do with where I'm at and his connection. But
I had the same problem though. I was having the same problem. But anyway, Kris is a great dude. He knows his fucking movies, dude. He knows his movies so well. He really knows them to a level that, like, I don't think even a lot of Hollywood writers know, because he knows like all who directed who's this and stuff. And like The Invisible Man, I didn't know.
No, me neither.
I feel cheated now that I know.
He totally just got me interested in stuff I've never wanted to go back and look at.
Yeah, well, he's a good dude, man. But one reason why we do the shows, and we like to talk about headlines and, you know, sports and movies and all that kind of stuff. But we do have a kind of a serious side. We also really want to make sure that if you or someone you love is in trouble or needs some help, you know, reach out. That there's a national hotline. It's 888. It's the National Suicide Hotline. We don't want anyone to fall. You know, we need people in America to help us form a real positive movement. We want to just be positive, and we need people. So, you know, please, you know, if you're feeling, you know, like you're not worth it or having some sort of self-esteem issues or really feeling like your life isn't worth anything, call us, reach us out in the chat. Like, let us know what's going on because, you know, we want to help. We want to help, and we want you to know that we have your interests at heart. So, Jason, I'll turn it over to you, man.
Yes, Rob's right. We want to help everybody. We don't want you to make a permanent decision to a temporary problem. Suicide's no way out. You leave everyone left behind hurting for the rest of their life when you're gone. And it's silly. There's all kinds of ways to fix it. I mean, it's just all you got to do is just trust in somebody. Just tell somebody, anybody. It doesn't matter. They're not going to lock you up, throw away the key. Just
One
trust
thing
it.
I do know, Jason, if someone tells me or you they're feeling like hurting themselves, they better watch out because we're going into motion, dude. We're not sitting on that stuff. And just we have a situation where we put it into motion, and hopefully we're able to, you know, save somebody or help somebody get some things worked out. So the thing is, do not fucking play around with that shit, dude. We don't. It ain't worth it. It's selfish, and you leave a bunch of everybody else holding the bag. So come on, man. So, Jason, what you said is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. Oh, man. So, fun show, dude.
It was fun. I mean, I had a couple of issues I had to deal with, but the old Wolf Man sounded good.
Yeah, I wish his audio was better, but hopefully we'll see on the replay if it works out.
We'll figure that out.
People that you can reach us. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, the Two Bros Show page, and then we have a group. No, excuse me, the group is the Two Bros Show. The page is the new Two Bros Show because we weren't satisfied with the old one. We had to create a new one. So join us. We post all kinds of like just. I don't even know how do you explain the shit that we post, Jason?
We're just trying to.
I mean, it's not like overly like sexual or offensive or.
No. All we're doing.
Stupid memes.
Yes, all we're doing is putting someone out there that you know how when a dog hears something strange, its ears go whoop. That's what we're doing. We want you to look and then be drawn in so we can help you. That's it.
Exactly. What we're trying to do is we just want to get your attention, get you in the show, talk about some fun, talk about some fun stuff, and have interesting guests. At the end of it, we're going to tell you, hey, look, if you or someone else needs help, you know, get help. Get help. Don't sit on it. And again, you know, it's just. I know it sounds like a broken record. People only want to fucking hear it, but I'm going to say it every goddamn show because we've lost too many people. So leave it at that, man.
Yeah, and I mean, just think about this. That day you feel like you're hopeless, once you make that call and you get help, how many millions of people might you help after you have that experience and that testimony where you say, hey, man, I was almost there and somebody said something and now I want to do the same for you. And then they do it for 2 others and then 3 others, 4 others. That's it.
You know, maybe you're just in with the wrong group of people. Maybe you just need to change your group of people, and sometimes that changes your outlook. I know a lot of people, you know, when they have problems, they get involved with church groups, and you know, I'm not advocating it one way or the other, but you know, there's a lot of people who are looking for, you know, healthy ways to do. You're not going to find it at the tavern, probably not. You know, you're not. And so again, just want to let you know if you're looking for some happiness, you're missing something in your life. You know, people care about you. We want you to be around. Yes, sir. So, dude, great show. Big show of freaks, I guess, here, since we're looking at our title. But I don't know who Iowa LKS is, but I appreciate them commenting on the thing. I'm surprised they commented, you have won $100,000. Just, you know, like.
Oh, really? Yeah. I love deleting those people.
Yeah. But anyway, listen, have a great weekend. Happy birthday to my man Nick. We're gonna be doing that on Sunday. So
Birthday, Nicky.
yeah, he's excited, dude. It's been like a whole year. He's been like every day. So kids are fun when they're at that age. They want to, like, you know what I mean? The birthdays is such a big fucking thing. So, but dude, listen, man. The one thing I want to have Kris back on, and we didn't really talk about it because we're having sound issues, is I want to have him come back and talk about the Munsters and the remake of the Munsters and stuff. And maybe your brother-in-law will watch that show and we can make him happy.
Yeah, I will. Oh my gosh, he'll watch that show. He'll come on.
That's what we need. That's what we need. All right, brother. Listen, I'm going to let you go, my friend. This is the TwoBrosShow.
Hey, time out. Angie, come here. I want him to see my hot ex-wife. Come here. Come here. Come here. You want to go live on TV? Come on. Come on. Damn. All right. Love you, bro.
Well, you knew that was going to happen. None of them. There's no woman alive that would say, "Oh, please let me go on the TV."
Angie, hey, are you good?
Angie,
Angie, look at me. Oh, no. Angie, look.
Jason, stop being a dick.
All right.
Come on.
Love you, bro.
Dude, you're too much, dude. You're too much. But listen, we can't finish until we do this. Welcome to the TwoBrosShow. Here's your host, Rob Staggenborg, with co-host Jason Nichols. Let's go to the studio.
Whoa, baby!